Hello, my name is Chloe and today I'm going to talk to you about The Heart of Betrayal by Mary E. Pearson. Now this is the second book in the Remnant Chronicles. The first book is called The Kiss of Deception and I actually already have a book talk on this one, so I will link it in the doodad down below if you haven't read that one, because then you don't really want to hear about this one. You should hear about the other one first and then go read that first and then come back and we can chat about the second book here. So I'd assume you've stuck around if you've read the first book, The Kiss of Deception, which is probably one of my all-time favourite reads that I've read so far in 2015. Okay, that's a bit of a big call because now I've read this one, so this one is kind of surpassing how much I love The Kiss of Deception, only by a little bit. Like, it's incredibly good story. It is just so good. If possible, the story got even richer, the characters developed more, and they had so much more depth and wittiness, and you got to learn so much more about all of the characters, especially the characters that you're seeing from the viewpoints of. So in this book you don't just have the three, you also get to see from Pauline's point of view, who is Leah's best friend, who was left behind in Terevan when she got kidnapped. And of course, if you've read The Kiss of Deception, please, I really hope that you have left if you haven't read The Kiss of Deception, because this will be a major spoiler alert for the first book. If you've read it, you already know that the two main male characters kind of pull a bit of a switcheroo on you in your mind, and it's a little bit of a mind fudge, and it's crazy. So in this book you really actually get to start to know them as Caden and as Rafe, as the assassin and as the prince. You really get to know them so much more, specifically because you're hearing like their thoughts and what they're thinking, and it's absolutely brilliant. So this book obviously starts where the first book leaves off, which is Leah showing up in Vendor. So they're at the bridge to the entrance of Vendor and Rafe has just shown up. Leah learns that he's actually the prince and not the little farm boy that she thought he was. So it's kind of like, what's going to happen? What's Leah going to think? She's still going to be in love with him when she knows of the deception that's happened. I mean, you kind of come into this book thinking, what the F is going to happen? And let me tell you, what happens is brilliant. It is absolutely on point. It is so good that the intrigue that happens in Vendor, and while Leah's trying to survive, what she has to do to survive. If I had to describe Leah in one word, I would probably describe her as very impulsive. Sometimes that can be really annoying in book characters when they're really impulsive, because they just do the first thing that pops into their head, and usually it's really stupid and you're like, no, why did you do that? But Leah is impulsive in a really good way because she is so clever, so clever, that whenever she jumps on her impulsivities and she actually does the first thing that pops into her head, it's always really well thought out, even though it's not well thought out. Like, she does it and it's like, oh my god, that was so good, I can't believe you just did that. And it happens throughout the entire book, and you can see Caden and Rafe and they're all like, what are you doing? But she does it anyway and it works out for her and it's great, and it's just amazeballs. I also love the world building that goes on in this book. You get to learn a lot about Vendor, which is Caden's kingdom, where Caden comes from. So you learn so much about him and about the kingdom and about the Komazar and everybody and everything in this book. It's just so well developed that it just feels so real for you. You feel like you're really there. You're really a part of this world, and it's so magical, it's magnificent, it's written so well. Huge props goes out to Mary E. Pearson for creating this. I cannot even express. It's just beautiful. So in this book as well, we get to see a lot more about Leah's gift, and there are some other things that I'm not going to mention that would be a huge spoiler, but it's awesome and it happens and it's great. And of course the book leaves off at another cliffhanger, but I'm gonna die waiting for the next book. I'm gonna die. And I mean, while the first half of this book, it was a little bit slower than some parts of the book, like majority, the second half is a little bit more fast paced, a lot more things come to fruition and things happen, and it's a lot more like, oh my gosh, I cannot put this book down. But even though the start of the book is a little bit slower, it's not uninteresting. It's still really interesting because you are learning about Vendor, you're learning about the history of Vendor and Caden's history, and you're learning so much more about both Rafe, Caden and everybody else in this book. So while it is slow, it's not dull, which I found really good. So all in all, I would absolutely give this another 5 out of 5 stars. I say another only because I gave the first book 5 out of 5 stars as well. Now the second book absolutely deserves 5 out of 5 too. If I could give it 10 out of 5, I absolutely would. I adore this series. It is so wonderful. Leah is like one of the best female characters I've read about this year. She's just fantastic to live inside of her head. She is so clever, so witty. Just really, she's just a kind person. She's not doing anything to spite people. Even some of her actions would be considered betrayals. Yet she's not doing it out of spite. She's not doing it because she wants revenge. She's simply doing it because she needs to survive and for her own kingdom. And her priorities are so right. Like, even though she's in this enemy territory, she still makes friends and people still flock to her because she's a great person and they love her, even though she's an enemy in their own home. And that really shows you the kind of character that she is and the kind of person that she is. And I love living in this world. I love Leah, I love Caden, and I love Rafe. I'm so torn about this. I'm so torn about the whole love triangle that's going on. But I mean, well, I guess I'll just have to wait for the next book to see what's going to happen, and it's going to be torturous. But I'm so glad that I read this book because it's just amazing. I would absolutely recommend it to anyone who hasn't read it, and please do tell me if you've already read it down below what you thought about it. I'd love to hear your thoughts, and if you have not read it, then I would recommend that you go pick it up and read it because it's great and you will love it. So thank you very much for watching, and please do like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video, because I'll be back at you with another video shortly. Thanks guys, bye! I love living in this world. I love living in this world. Thoughts are processing. It's rare that the second book in a series is as good or perhaps better than the first, but that's the case here. Anticipation for the next volume will start as soon as this one is put down. Oh my gosh, that's so flipping true. Oh, waiting for this book is gonna kill me. A sumptuous fantasy. Sumptuous. That's a great word.
Cause the player's gonna play. Haters gonna hate. Baby, I'm just gonna shake. Shake it up.
I don't even know why I'm saying that. It's absolutely nothing to do with this book, but
Shake it up.